municipalities, businesses, and WDEV. The Brady Farkas Show is produced and funded by WDEV and the Radio Vermont Group. We welcome listener feedback. Email your comments to WDEV@radiovermont.com. The energy.
How does anybody live and drive in Boston every single day? This guy stopped in the middle of the road with his hazard lights on. This guy won't yield. That guy won't let you go. That guy passes in front of you. That guy goes 3 lanes of traffic all in one shot. How does anybody do this?
The passion.
Look, if the Red Sox aren't going to play Yoshida Endeavors as they're about to get swept, then we might as well just give up and go home.
The opinions on all your favorite teams.
I'm glad that Mac Jones looks better. That's really important. He needs to look better. But if it were a video game, he'd still have an overall rating of 76, and that ain't cutting it.
This is the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
What's up, everybody? Brady Farkas Show here on a Tuesday. A very happy Tuesday to you on WDEV AM and FM and WDEVradio.com. Show is brought to you by Fecto Homes, your total home solution in Montpelier. Banner behind me if you're watching us online on Facebook Live or my Twitter account or on YouTube. So appreciate their partnership. We're up until 6:40 today, and then we bring you Red Sox baseball. Sox looking now to win their 6th consecutive game here, won 5 straight. Rockies for 1, Yankees for 3, Twins for 1 yesterday with a nice 9-3 victory. Sox brought out the bats, especially in the later portions of that game. So the first pitch, is coming up at 7:40 tonight as, again, the Sox go for their 6th consecutive victory. They are just 1.5 games out right now, the final wild card spot. I had it a little bit off yesterday. I must have read something before somebody else had played. I had the Sox as 3 out yesterday. Now they're 1.5 out. So they picked up an extra game and a half in the 24 hours from what I thought. So mild mistake by me. And they're even closer to the playoffs. I want to make sure I corrected that. Just 1.5 games out. You can get in on the Ayer Auto text line, 802-585-3026. Ayer Auto, North Main Street in Barrie, Collision Center, Sales Center, AyerAutoSales.com. Again, feel free to get in on that text line. We've got a couple of texts already about Red Sox broadcasters that I want to address here in a little while. The opening thoughts of the Brady Farkas Show are brought to you by Sticks and Stuff and Swanton Lumber, Vermont's most complete locally owned home center with locations in Enosburg, Derby, Middlesex, St. Albans, and at Swanton Lumber. They're online at sticksandstuff.com. I have to admit something to you. I hate not knowing something. I hate not having the answer on something, and I hate not having a strong opinion on something. It feels like for this business, not knowing or not having the answer is weak, right? I hate straddling the fence on things. But I got to tell you, in this case with Jack Jones and the Patriots, I really don't know. Okay? I want to know. I want to have a feeling one way or the other of the way this is going to go or the way it should go. And I got to tell you right now, I don't. Yesterday, I laid out the charges for you, right? Jack Jones and the Patriots, defensive back, arrested on Friday, loaded gun in an airport, trying to get past TSA security. We laid out what those charges are. I told you I thought that Jack Jones was going to survive that and land still on the roster and still play football for the Patriots this year. But now 24 hours later, I don't know what's going to happen. This is so far legally above my head that I'm not sure. And as far as what should happen, I'm not sure of that either. And I hate telling you that. I hate having that, right? Because you come to me looking for answers or entertainment, and I don't have one for you in this case. And it's certainly not an entertaining topic. Okay, I feel guilty that I don't have something better for you today, but I just don't. I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know what should happen. Because as you read more for 24 hours here, Jack Jones could face 18 months in prison. Jack Jones could face 30 years in prison. I mean, this is serious. I knew it was serious, but yesterday when I was in here, I was kind of thinking like, okay, there'll be a plea deal. He'll pay a fine and he'll be on his way. I don't know that that's the case now. I'm not sure that that's the case now. And if it is the case, then he's done with the Patriots. And if it's not the case, but he still has done something, I don't know what the Patriots should do. Here's where we're at today. He can face between 18 months and 30 years in prison. His attorney came out today and said that Jack Jones did not know those guns were in his bag. And she said that the evidence will substantiate that. She said the evidence will support that. And then she called out everyone on social media who was calling Jack Jones a thug and said that because he's young and black, he's being labeled a thug, and that's not fair. I'm certainly not labeling Jack Jones a thug. If what Jack Jones is alleged to do, if he's done that, then it's incredibly stupid. But I'm not labeling him a thug. So that has nothing to do with me. But here's where we're at for the Patriots and Jack Jones, and here's where it gets tricky. Okay, the Patriots could cut Jack Jones, right? They could cut him. And then we could find out that what his attorney says is true, that he didn't know, that he is innocent, that the evidence does support that he wasn't aware that these guns were in his bag, that they were loaded. And then if you do that, you have gotten rid of a guy, you've sullied a guy's name prematurely, and you've lost out on a good football player, which is kind of tangential to it, but it's still important for a football team. If you cut Jack Jones, you run that risk. You sully a guy's name, and you lose out on a good football player. If you wait and you let Jack Jones play, then you run the risk of having it be true, and you have a low character individual or a guy who's made too big of a mistake to come back from representing you on a public stage. And when you're an organization that's already had the Aaron Hernandez situation, you don't really want a gun-related stain on your organization twice. So that's the decision where the Patriots are at right now. You can cut him and risk being wrong. You can play him and risk being wrong. This is a very difficult situation. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what should happen. Phil Perry of NBC Sports Boston said last night on TV, it may not matter what the Patriots want to do. They may have the decision made for them.
Right. You're not playing a game this weekend. You don't have to make a decision in the here and now. This is the dead period of the NFL. But I think the decision may very well just be taken out of their hands. You know, we might be talking about, well, what do they do if he actually has to serve jail time here? Like, that's what we're talking about. This is not about his playing career. I know that's what we care about, covering the team the way we do. But he's now, right now, he is in jeopardy of losing his freedom, as Greg put it. So, I don't know if they're going to have a decision to
Yeah, but
so they might as well just.
Okay, so Phil says you wait until the time arrives and you wait and see what exactly you have to do. Greg Bedard of the Boston Sports Journal said this kind of similarly.
The wheels of justice move very slowly. I mean, you know, we're talking about what? And he's not, unless he cops some sort of plea, there's not going to be adjudication in the next 2 or 3 months. I mean, this could go on for the next year before he faces the ramifications from this. So then you're like, now what do the Patriots do?
Right.
And, you know, I think they're going to wait. And I think part of it has to do with the situation that they're in at cornerback. And it's not a good situation right now if you have to take a guy off.
Okay. If you asked me to pick an outcome on this today, I think the Patriots will do what Greg Bedard says. Okay? I think they'll do what Greg Bedard says. If you give me if I have to make a decision today, I think the Patriots wait, and they wait, and they wait, and they wait for the legal process to play out. The legal process happens slowly, and then Jack Jones plays this season. Doesn't mean he won't be suspended by the league for some game. Okay? 4 games, conduct detrimental to the league, 4-game suspension. It could happen. But I think the Patriots will wait to figure things out legally before they make a move organizationally. I do think it is their goal to play with Jack Jones this season. Now, I don't think the corner situation is as dire as Greg Bedard's making it out to be, but that's beside the point. Jack Jones is a good football player. He's an impact football player. He had an interception, I believe, against the Lions last year at the goal line. He had the pick 6 of Aaron Rodgers. He's a guy who we were talking about for a bit last year as Defensive Rookie of the Year in the NFL. He was a 4th-round pick. He's a steal contractually. I don't believe that the Patriots want to just get rid of that guy until they have to. So I think they will wait, and I think they will try to play him. The question I will have moving forward is, does the league put him on the commissioner's exempt list? Does the league take this out of the Patriots' hands? Right? Phil Perry's talking about maybe the law taking it out of the Patriots' hands. Maybe the league takes it out of the Patriots' hands. Now, I'll admit, that would be easier for the Patriots, right? They don't have to look like the bad guy one way or the other. They let the league look like the bad guy one way or the other. That would be easier for the Patriots. I wonder if that is going to be the case, right? I mean, you look at the situation. These allegations embarrass the league. The gun situation in the country has certainly been very, very serious. The league does not want to appear on what, a lot of people would think is the wrong side of that debate. So I could see the league putting him on the commissioner's exempt list and doing their own investigation and not letting him play until they come up with their own findings, regardless of what happens legally. So this is a very complicated situation. It's a very nuanced situation. The Patriots don't need to have an answer here for at least 2 months, really, until mid-August. I imagine Jack Jones will be at training camp. I imagine Jack Jones will be on the field at training camp. I imagine we know about any suspension prior to the preseason starting or a commissioner's exempt list prior to the preseason starting. But this is tough. Yesterday, I knew how serious it was, or I knew it was serious, but I didn't realize just how serious it was. I really thought this was going to end up like the Patrick Chung situation, where it's a big deal on day one, and then we're talking about some kind of fine and a couple of this, that, and the other, and then he plays. That may not be the case. We may get a league-issued suspension here. And we may get, we're going to potentially get legal action here. I mean, this is a big deal. Absolutely a big deal. 802-585-3026, Napa Morrisville. No, not Napa Morrisville. Excuse me. Old habits die hard. The Ayer Auto Sales text line. Ayer Auto text line. 802-585-3026. Let's catch up a little bit on another Patriots story. This is the DeAndre Hopkins story that we've been talking about. And hopefully this is the last time I'm talking about this until a decision is made. But Albert Breer, the Monday morning quarterback, thinks that Hopkins might be making teams wait because he's hoping that a better team comes down the pipeline and makes him an offer. Here's Breer talking about Hopkins and his decision.
Almost no cap space. They're working on a long-term deal for Chris Jones, their star defensive tackle. So what is his cap number? If that happens, the door could open back up to him going to the Chiefs. So I think really what he's waiting for is something like that's materialized right now. Because the money isn't great. It's not the overall backup level, which was what he was looking for. And absent the money, I think he does want to play for sure.
Okay, so this goes back to what I have been saying on DeAndre Hopkins from the start. He needs to figure out what's most important to him. Okay, what is most important to him? If winning is the most important thing to him, then yeah, Chiefs, Buffalo, San Fran, etc. If stats, volume, padding a Hall of Fame resume are most important to him, okay, then that tells you one thing. And if money is most important to him, then that puts you in another camp. You've got to figure out what is most important to you. And then if I'm DeAndre Hopkins, this is the difference to me. DeAndre Hopkins is waiting for people to come to him. When DeAndre Hopkins knows what he wants, then he needs to go out and make it happen on his own. And I've never been in DeAndre Hopkins' position, right? So I fully admit that. I've never been as good at something as DeAndre Hopkins is at football. I've never made as much money as he has. I've never been as coveted as he has. I don't have a Hall of Fame reputation like he does. When you are that good, you have an ego that will kick in and expect people to come to you. But I think DeAndre Hopkins has got to go out and be the aggressor here. If he knows what he wants, then you go make it happen. Okay, if DeAndre Hopkins says money doesn't matter to me, I want to play with the best quarterback possible and I want to win a title, I call up Andy Reid personally. I'm like, Coach, okay, I want to play for you. What is the money we can do to fit me in? Is it $1 million? Is it $4 million? Is it $6 million? Whatever it is, let's do it. If Kansas City won't do it, how about Buffalo? Okay, Coach, I want to play for you. I want to help you get over the hump. Let's do it. $1 million, $3 million, $5 million, whatever. Okay, if it's about winning in the quarterback, then he needs to go out and be proactive himself. If it's about statistical volume and being the number one guy, then take the offers that are likely already on the table from Tennessee or the Patriots. Just call up Mike Vrabel or Bill Belichick and say, Coach, I'm coming. Okay, Tennessee, I believe, made an offer already. The Patriots, I don't know if they have an official offer, but if you think that they've got what you covet, then do it. This whole waiting, you've been asked to the prom, but you're going to hold off on answering and just wait for something better to come along. That's no good. Okay? That doesn't even work in the prom in 11th grade. It doesn't work for me here now. Okay? You've got something on the table or you know what you want. Go make it happen or accept what's there. Don't just wait for something better to come along. What is most important to you? Right? What is most important to you? Got to figure that out. You've got to figure that out. You've got to be proactive. What can the Patriots offer? The Patriots can offer, you're going to be my number one receiver. We've got a Hall of Fame coach, the most winningest coach in the modern NFL of the last 25, 30 years. We've got a championship pedigree here. We've got an owner who's committed to playing or committed to building a winner. And we've got a team that we think is you away from being back in the playoffs. The Patriots can't offer Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. They can't. The Patriots can offer what I just said. And if DeAndre Hopkins is okay with that, then take it. If he's not, then call somebody else. Peter over in Williston, the Jack Jones deal is messed up. One of the things passenger signs up for is being responsible for what's in their own bags. I can't imagine the commissioner doesn't hand down a severe suspension given what happened to John Morant. That's interesting too, right? The precedent has kind of been set, right? You look at this, but it's kind of consistent with what I just said, right? John Morant got 25 games of an 80-game season, right? So he got 1/3-ish of the season, a little more than 1/3, a little less than 1/4. Well, Jack Jones getting 4 games would be a little less than 1/4, more than 1/3, right? That would be kind of commiserate. Now, again, the commissioner's exempt list, I think, is very possible. But if it's not the commissioner's exempt list, then I think it's a 4-game suspension. We're going to continue to monitor this. Red Sox win again last night. They've won 5 consecutive games. There was a lot to like over that win against the Twins. We'll break it down next on the Brady Farkas Show, brought to you by Fecto Homes on DEV.
DEV is Vermont's preeminent news station. For 92 years, we've been at the forefront of reporting local, state, regional, and national news for listeners in Vermont. We're looking for that next generation newscaster to continue our legacy of excellence. Apply now by sending your materials to scormier@radiovermont.com. For job description and duties, log on to WDEVradio.com. WDEV and the Radio Vermont Group is an equal opportunity employer.
The WDEV studio is sponsored by Sticks and Stuff and Swanton Lumber, Vermont's largest independent home center, powered by Marvin Doors and Windows. Go to sticksandstuff.com for store locations and hours.
At Union Bank, they've helped local businesses and municipalities since 1891 with a full suite of commercial and municipal loans and services. Union Bank is local, so we can act quickly, provide personalized customer care, and have the personal, commercial, and municipal banking services that you need. Now, for a limited time, lock in a 9-month CD at 4.50 annual percentage yield and 4.40% interest rate. This offer is available online only. See website for details at uvlocal.com. Union Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Are you looking to get rid of your used mobile home? Here at Fecto Homes, we don't just sell new mobile homes, we also buy used. If you have a used mobile home that you are looking to sell, we can either accept it as trade and apply the value to a new home with us or purchase it outright. We offer fair prices and quick removal of your mobile home. So reach out to us for a quote today. Fecto Homes, 350 River Street, Montpelier, or visit us at fectohomes.com for more information.
WDEV also serves the Northeast Kingdom at 101.9 W270BR Island Pond. Whatever your interest, sports.
It would be monumental if they can come away with 2 wins, right?
Current events.
Vermonters are very used to a serious, deliberate budget process.
Weather.
Now, typically, El Niños and La Niñas have generally a weaker effect on
WDEV has a podcast for you. Locally produced podcasts of our own shows and podcasts from our partners at CBS and ESPN. To access the full listing of podcasts, go to our website at WDEVradio.com.
Hi, folks. This is Peter Burke. Join Joel Nashman in the Garden Saturdays at 12:30. Don't try to do it alone in your garden. Call in with questions, for advice, or just to share your successes in the garden.
Brought to you in part by The Willie's Store, family owned since 1900 in Greensboro. Poly Construction, Gregory Drive, South Burlington. One call does it all. And your locally owned Montpelier Agway, East Montpelier Road.
Make your opinion heard by texting on to the Brady Farkas Show at 802-585-3026.
Now it's back to the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
Welcome back in. Brady Farkas Show brought to you by Fecto Homes on WDEV AM and FM, WDEVradio.com. Multiple texters point out the difference between John Morant and Jack Jones is that Jack Jones committed allegedly a federal felony offense, a federal felony. And yeah, I mean, again, a lot of you are going to know the legal stuff better than me. That would certainly be a big deal as well. And John Morant also has a history, right? And that this is his second incident. This is Jack Jones' first. Does that weigh, at least not into the Jack Jones situation as much, but does that weigh into obviously the longer suspension on the NBA side? I would imagine that this is exactly how I think this is going to go, right? Last segment, I told you I don't have a good handle on this. If you're asking me to make a prediction, I already gave you, I think the Patriots are going to just wait. And I think their intention is going to be Jack Jones plays football. I do believe the NFL is going to step in, and I think the NFL is going to do something. A 4-game suspension is the lightest punishment I think that will happen. I think Jack Jones is guaranteed a suspension out of this. 4 games to me for conduct detrimental to the league is the lightest possible suspension that I believe he'll get. And then the indefinite suspension through the commissioner's exempt list, I think would also be on the table here. So I do think the decision to some degree will get taken out of the Patriots' hands. And frankly, I'd be kind of relieved if it did. I don't want the Patriots to have to make the choice here because this is a very difficult choice. You cut him and you risk being wrong. You keep him and you risk being wrong. These are serious offenses here. His attorney says he didn't know and this evidence is going to support that. Maybe. That might be true, right? That's in the realm of possible outcomes. But I still think that the Patriots are running a risk no matter what they do. And ultimately, they'd probably be more relieved if the league ultimately decided to come out and make a decision. So they didn't have to. Red Sox get a win yesterday. They win their 5th consecutive game, beating the Twins by a score of 9-3. Another texter says Jack Jones' games suspension is the least of his worries. Okay. You're probably right on that. All right, now to the Red Sox. They win 9-3. Couple things that you have to love here. Verdugo getting an RBI triple, bases clearing triple on an 0-2 count, right? That's not supposed to happen. As a pitcher, if I've let you do that, that's a mistake. As a hitter, good for you in capitalizing on it. Verdugo wraps that triple down the right field line, bases clearing. At a time the Red Sox have been struggling with the bases loaded, Verdugo breaks the door down and broke the 3-3 tie. You got to love that. Got to love the Casas homer, right? He's starting to come along here in the last month or so. The average is still low, but the on-base percentage the last month is higher. The power is higher. The at-bats are good. Duran, look, he had scuffled for a while, 3 for 3 with 3 doubles yesterday. And 2 of those doubles probably didn't belong as doubles, but because of his speed and hustle, he turned them into doubles. So good stuff there from Duran. And then James Paxton, of course, 6 1/3 to 7 strikeouts, made the one bad pitch there for the 3-run homer. But beyond that, really settled in well. Again, 7 strikeouts. And then Alex Cora, 400 total wins as a Red Sox manager. I believe he's the 9th Red Sox manager to hit the 400 win plateau. He's got the 3rd best winning percentage of any of those managers that have 400 wins. So last night was a good win all around. You start the road trip off on a positive note. Last night, a lot to be happy about. I still want to see Rafi Devers get like insanely hot. But beside that, a lot of things, even the Red Sox defense was good yesterday, right? The Devers play at third, Reyes, the spinning, whirling dervish there behind second. Casas even playing well on some of the stretches, which seems like an easy thing, but it's not necessarily easy. Yesterday was a lot of good. And to me, the thing that stands out is, 1, the Duran doubles and all of his hustle that led to them. And 2 is James Paxton. Like, I don't know how you don't walk out of that game thinking about Paxton. He goes 6 1/3, gets the 7 strikeouts. I am very, very impressed by Paxton, and I am very, very surprised. And surprised for a couple of reasons. I like James Paxton. I've always liked James Paxton, right? You know he's a former Mariner. He was at his best with the Mariners. He was supposed to be one of the Mariners' big 3 back in the day. So I've been watching Paxton forever. I'm always a big-time Paxton fan. I'm surprised he stayed healthy, knock on wood to this point. And I'm surprised he's been as efficient as he is. Okay, to me, James Paxton was a guy who always threw a lot of pitches. Yeah, he'd get strikeouts, but he'd also walk guys. He'd go deep in accounts. To see him going 6 innings, 6 1/3 innings regularly, that surprises me. And it's been a pleasant surprise. Okay, it's been a very pleasant surprise. How efficient he is and how healthy he's been, that really stands out to me. And if the Red Sox were to trade him, his value is going up by the start. Yesterday I said I think he'd give you kind of an average prospect. If he keeps pitching like this, he's going to give you more than an average prospect. There's no doubt about it, right? He's going to give you more than an average prospect. Now, he's in his mid-30s. I hope the Red Sox continue to play well so they don't have to trade him. But if they did, his value is going higher and higher by the day. Air Auto text line, 802-585-3026. Texter says, just think about when Devers gets hot. Well, I mean, when Devers gets hot, then the Red Sox offense is going to be a lot better. Right? Red Sox offense is going to be a lot better because Devers drives that thing. And, you know, he's had some little stretches, but he hasn't had the continuous 2-week heater that we're used to from this team, or used to from him with this team. Right now we're seeing Duran, and okay, we saw Casas, and we've seen Ref Snyder. We've seen Yoshida. But I'd like to see, okay, again, Turner. And I'd like to see Devers be consistently really good for this team. We're starting to see Verdugo, again, come out of it, I hope. But Red Sox, chance for a 6th straight win. I was asked earlier today, kind of how good do I think the Red Sox are? I think this is exactly what I've said for all along to you. Right? Red Sox are a little bit better than average. And 38 and 35 is a little bit better than average. They are a team that is good enough to be in the race. I don't know that they're good enough to finish the job. There's pieces they would need at the trade deadline. We'll address what one of the texters has to say after the CBS News update, but there are certainly things about this team to like, and this is what happens when you are a little bit better than average. You go, hey, we're going to go up, we're going to go down. We're going to win one we're not supposed to. We're going to lose one we're not supposed to. We're going to win 3. We're going to lose 2. We're going to win 5. We're going to lose 4. This is the ride the Red Sox are on right now, and until they address some things at the deadline, I think, to get more consistent and get better, I think we're going to continue to see this. But right now, you are in a softer part of your schedule, and you've taken advantage of it, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do. 7:40 tonight is the first pitch. We're 40 minutes away from the pregame show. We'll answer a couple of text messages on the Sox coming up next on the Brady Farkas Show on DEV.
This is WDEV, Vermont's news station, owned and operated by the Radio Vermont Group. From the top of Sugarbush, 96.1 FM, WDEV Warren and Waitsfield, 96.5 W243 Barrie, 98.3 W252 CU Montpelier, along with our founding station, AM 550 WDEV Waterbury Montpelier, streaming at WDEVradio.com. 91 years of serving Vermont. Friendly pioneer, WDEV.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Christopher Cruz in the Washington Bureau. News that President Biden's son Hunter has agreed to a plea deal with the Department of Justice that has him likely avoiding prison time is not sitting well with Republicans. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy this afternoon.
My first reaction is it continues to show the two-tier system in America. If you are the president's leading political opponent, the DOJ tries to literally put you in jail and give you prison time. If you are the president's son, you get a sweetheart deal.
On MSNBC, reaction from Hunter Biden's attorney Chris Clark.
I've heard Speaker McCarthy say a lot of stuff I don't agree with. There was no basis for what he said, and he's not right.
Hunter Biden will plead guilty to tax and weapons charges. President Biden today told reporters, "I'm proud of my son." Much of Texas is under excessive heat warnings now. Odyssey, New York meteorologist Craig Allen says it's so hot, it's dangerous.
We're talking about dangerously hot conditions, and the heat index could be up between 110 and 115 degrees. That will take a tremendous toll on the body.
An increasingly urgent search continues now for a 5-person submersible 900 miles off the coast of Massachusetts. CBS's Roxana Saveri reports from Boston.
For years, it was mainly scientists who visited the famous shipwreck, located nearly 2.5 miles under the ocean surface. But 2 years ago, the company OceanGate Expeditions began taking tourists.
OceanGate Expeditions offers you the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be a specially trained crew member safely diving to the Titanic wreckage site.
The price tag, around $250,000.
Russian officials say they do not believe a visit to Beijing by Secretary of State Antony Blinken will hurt the relationship between Russia and China. More on that from CBS News correspondent Ian Lee.
We heard from the Kremlin spokesman really saying that this isn't going to change any relations between Russia and China. Secretary Blinken did come out and say that the Chinese weren't going to provide any lethal aid to the Russians for use in Ukraine. But when it comes to Moscow and Beijing relations, they really have gotten closer as this war has progressed. Russia has really turned to China for a lot of assistance because of these crippling Western sanctions that have targeted Russia.
4 people were killed this morning when a fire that started in an e-bike shop in New York City quickly spread to apartments in the floors above it. The fire happened in the Chinatown neighborhood of Manhattan. Fire officials believe the fire was an accident caused by a lithium-ion battery, but a man who says he owns the shop told the AP that no lithium-ion batteries were being charged there overnight. The Dow closed down 245 points. This is CBS News.
Need hires who dazzle without the hassle? You need Indeed. Their powerful platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
The WDEV studio is sponsored by Sticks and Stuff and Swanton Lumber, Vermont's largest independent home center, powered by Marvin Doors and Windows. Go to sticksandstuff.com for store locations and hours.
Turn your home into restricted airspace. Tell incoming flights you want them diverted. The new Raid Essentials light trap plugs into the wall and uses light to attract, then trap flying insects like fruit flies and mosquitoes. Its 24/7 continuous attraction provides insecticide-free protection that's people and pet friendly. Consider air service interrupted. New Raid Essentials light trap, insecticide-free protection.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Local businesses advertise with WDEV because they get results. Brian Bittner of Bittner Antiques shares his experience advertising with WDEV.
We've done a number of recorded ads with WDEV, which have a great response. And we've also been doing live radio call-ins once a week for the past few years. And the response of that has just been amazing.
Interested in advertising on WDEV? Contact us at WDEV@radiovermont.com.
Want Brady to hear your opinion on the sports stories of the day? Text in at 802-585-3026. This is former NFL wide receiver Keyshawn Johnson, and now we're back to the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV Radio and WDEVradio.com.
Welcome back in, Brady Farkas Show right here on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. Some breaking Red Sox news we'll get to in a minute. I want to answer this text, though. Texter says, Paxton pitching so great is almost a steal for them, given his salary, and he's been an anchor since Sale got hurt. It's not almost a steal for the Red Sox. It is a steal for the Red Sox. James Paxton is a steal right now. He's making $4 million this year. And he's been excellent in the games he's started here, right? He's been pitching for, over a month now, since right before Mother's Day, and he has been excellent. $4 million a year is a huge bargain. It's a bargain to the Red Sox. It's a bargain to an acquiring team if they trade him. This is what you want when you pick things up off the scrap heap. And here is kind of the problem with the Red Sox methodology, or at least here is the reality of the Red Sox methodology. I have long advocated for you to pick up pieces off the scrap heap, right? I have talked about how, my Mariners have gotten pieces off the scrap heap, right? They picked up Paul Sewald. He's turned into a really good reliever. They picked up Dylan Moore. He's turned into a useful player. You look at the Dodgers, Max Muncy, Chris Taylor. These guys were off the scrap heap, right? You pick up some of these unheralded guys, and you just hope that they pop. Right? And when they do, like happened for the Dodgers, you look like a genius. And when they don't, you look like a schmuck. And here's kind of where we're at with Chaim Bloom. Chaim Bloom is picking up guys that I think are good pickups. The problem is that not enough of them are becoming James Paxton. Right? Like, let's look at the Red Sox kind of scrap heap pickups on this year's team. Right? I would say Christian Arroyo is a good player. He's not healthy enough. So overall, that's kind of not a win. Rob Refsnyder's a definite win. So right now we're 1 for 2. Then you look at it and you say, okay, Corey Kluber, not a win. You're 1 for 3. Okay, but there's Paxton. Now you're 2 for 4. And then you start to look at it. Okay, look at the rest of the guys in the past few years. Martin Perez, good 1 year, not good the next year. Garrett Richards wasn't really good. So you start putting your faith in. Okay, you let Evaldi go. Okay, you hit Waka last year, right? You let him go. You're like, okay, we can replicate that. Well, you haven't really replicated it this year. You let Evaldi go thinking, okay, we can find the next Nate Evaldi. Well, you haven't really found it. You've got Paxton, yes, but you don't have anybody else like that in the rotation. The Red Sox need, in my mind, as we've talked about, okay, foundational young players, which make it so you need less of those lottery tickets. Right? Like, this is the goal. The goal is that you can build up your rotation. The goal is that you can build up your team with foundational, good, through the organization players. Then you can go out and spend on 1 or 2 big pieces on the periphery. And then you can start to flip over the lottery tickets, and they can truly be that, lottery tickets. The problem for the Red Sox is that their lottery tickets have all had to hit, or the season ends up a failure. Again, I keep going to my Mariners, but they're a perfect example of this. Okay, you look at the Mariners, look at their rotation. How's it built? George Kirby, farm system. Logan Gilbert, farm system. Bryce Miller, farm system. Brian Wu, farm system. Now, Marco Gonzalez, a guy who they cultivated. Chris Flexen, who they found off their own scrap heap. Now, you go sign Robbie Ray. You go trade for Luis Castillo, and I've just named 8 pitchers right there that has allowed them to have enough depth and enough talent to keep them interesting in this season and last year make the playoffs. Okay? So when you've done all of that and you have that foundation from within, you can start to hope your lottery tickets are just that. The Red Sox have needed Martin Perez, and they've needed Garrett Richards, and they've needed Corey Kluber, and they've needed James Paxton to all hit, and most of them haven't. And as most of them haven't hit, your teams haven't been very good. Okay, that's the issue kind of with this thing. James Paxton is a steal. Rob Refsnyder is a steal. They are undeniable home runs. You just need enough of your own guys there so that the home runs can just be extra home runs and not like, okay, we had to have it just to stay afloat. Another texter. Brady, I can't stand listening to Lou Merlone. He never shuts up. What do you want me to do? I don't choose the broadcasters. Okay? I'll tell you this, though. Lou Merlone, to me, is that dude. I love listening to Lou Merlone. When Lou Merlone is on the games, he's my favorite color analyst to listen to. Whether he's on TV or he's on radio, Lou Merlone is my favorite Red Sox broadcaster to listen to from the color side. That's simple. Okay? Lou's phenomenal. If you don't like Lou, I don't know why. He brings together the playing experience, the personality of having done daily sports talk radio, the institutional knowledge of the team, knowledge of the personalities, knowledge of the media market. He's from the area. What more could you want in Lou? I saw another text that said, Brady, I love Will Fleming. I hope he's on the games more often. Will Fleming's on the games like every day. Okay, Will's phenomenal too, but Will's on the broadcast like every day. So if you say, oh, I hope you must not listen enough. We are blessed here with the Red Sox to have a great radio team and a great television team. And I'm not just saying that because we're a Red Sox affiliate. Like, we are very, very lucky. I look at the radio and I think, okay, there's Joe Castig. There's Will Fleming. There's Sean McDonough at times. There's Lou. On TV, I look at it and I'm like, okay, there's Dave O'Brien, who I think is phenomenal. Will Middlebrooks, who I really like. There's Lou again. Millar pops in. Euclid has gotten better. Before that, there was Eck, and Eck is incredible. Remy, like, we've been very, very lucky and very, very spoiled, I think, in terms of Red Sox broadcasters. If you don't like Lou, I don't know what's up with that. I do not know what's up with that. I think Lou is great. The breaking Red Sox news is this. Alex Spear of the Boston Globe just puts this out there. Tanner Houck will undergo surgery to put a plate in his cheek. Alex Cora said Houck is expected back this year, definitely, but there is no known timetable for a return. That's tough. We did this a little bit yesterday. I'm going to give this a little more time today. We're seeing this now far too often. Okay, there was a story in the minor leagues last night, and I'm sorry I don't remember where and who, but another pitcher that got hit in the face. And I've seen Ryan Yarbrough get hit in the face for Kansas City this year, and now Houck. And it's not hit in the head, it's hit in the actual face. And this is really, really scary. To me, this is the scariest thing in baseball, and I'm sensitive to it because I was a pitcher and because I've stood 60 feet 6 inches for years in Babe Ruth baseball and high school baseball and college baseball and men's league baseball, aluminum bats, wood bats, composite bats, doesn't matter. I've been at 60 feet 6 inches. This is a terrifying experience, and I do not know the way to mitigate this risk. In fact, I don't really think that you can. But I know that I don't want to see what I fear we're going to see at some point, and that is somebody end up dead on the field. And I'm not trying to be an alarmist. I'm not trying to overreact. That is my fear, that someday we will see somebody dead on the field at the pitcher's mound. And I pray that that doesn't happen. But we are now seeing these balls get thrown so hard and therefore hit so hard, and the reaction time change to being even lesser than it has been. And it's just scary. It is very, very scary. And you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Like, pitching mechanics can really do one of two things. If you are a pitcher, you will see pitchers that will throw and they will spin violently off the mound, right? Pitchers will throw, they'll spin violently off the mound. So if it's a right-handed pitcher, you'll see a guy spin way off the rubber and land over on, towards the first base side. And when that happens, you leave the side of your head exposed. Okay? You leave your cheek exposed. You leave the side of your head exposed. And that's no good. And then you'll see other people who have picture-perfect mechanics. I think Greg Maddux back in the day. And they will pitch, and they will land in a perfect fielding position where their torso is facing home plate, and now their entire face is exposed, right from their nose, their teeth, everything. And that's no good. Okay? And you're at a risk either way. And I don't know what you can do about it. Okay? Hitters are at risk too, but at least hitters have been able to add that flap that you see most of these guys wear, right? Like Justin Turner wears what they call the C flap. And it's that thing that goes from the earpiece down through the cheek right to your chin. And most players will wear that now. Not all of them, but a lot of them will wear that. So at least hitters have been able to have that. Pitchers have nothing. Okay, pitchers have nothing. And the options are what? Okay, the options are guys can wear the padded hats like we talked about a number of years ago. There was a pitcher on the Padres who actually wore the padded hat. The padded hat looked kind of ridiculous. It looked like you were wearing like a hat like a Mario or Luigi Halloween costume hat. It was big, like Charlie Brown style hat. And that will protect the side of your head, right? That will protect the side of your head. But that doesn't protect your cheek. That doesn't protect your nose. That doesn't protect, your chin. Okay, you could wear a mask like a softball pitcher wears. That would protect your face, but I don't know how you would actually throw with it. That wouldn't protect the side of your head, the back of your head if you rotate around when you throw. I don't know how you mitigate this, but it is the thing in baseball that scares me. And injuries are part of sports, and there are terrifying injuries in sports, right? Skates can do real damage in hockey, knee injuries, leg injuries, okay? Flipping in football, basketball, land on somebody, ankle here, leg there, terrible. Okay, we can see this kind of gruesomeness in every sport, but baseball is my sport, and pitcher was my position, and I take it very personally. And Tanner Houck, he's going to get surgery to put a plate in his cheek. Frankly, that sounds lucky to me. And it's sad that I'm saying that's lucky to me, that here we are. And this is a guy, and look, I feel awful for Tanner Houck. Okay, this is a guy who had been kind of jerked around between the rotation and the bullpen. In his rookie year, was jerked around between the rotation and the minor leagues. He finally earns the spot. And now he's going to miss God knows how long because of this injury, which is incredibly terrifying. Peter over in Williston, I hope no one gets beaned or dies on the pitcher's mound. It was bad enough of what we saw with DeMar Hamlin last year. I don't want that kind of moment in baseball. I don't. Okay, I don't want that. And we're now seeing this with more regularity. And I don't know, and I don't want to know. I don't know what the stat is on the average times a pitcher gets hit in the head or face a year, but I feel like I'm seeing it more often. Right? And I can point, it felt to me so rare that I could point to specific instances, right? Aroldis Chapman in spring training when he was pitching for the Reds. Jay Happ when he was pitching for the Rays. Rafael Soriano when he was pitching for the Mariners. Okay? I felt like it was so rare that I can recall those instances. Now, I feel like we're talking about this every couple of weeks, and I hate it. I hate it, hate it, hate it. I hope Tanner Houck gets well and gets well soon. And then you worry, frankly, about the mental side of things, right? They were talking yesterday on the broadcast about Brian Johnson. There's another one, the old Red Sox player, hitting the minor leagues that did some real mental damage to him. I don't know how it couldn't. Okay. Tanner Houck is a tough guy. Tanner Houck is kind of a badass. So maybe he sloughs it off and says, hey, no big deal. But I don't know. I couldn't. Okay, I would have a hard time getting back on the mound if that happened to me. And I'm lucky I was never hit in the head, but I've been hit in a lot of places before. I've been hit by line drives. Okay, I've been hitting the shoe tops. I've been hitting the ankle. I've been hitting the side. I've been hitting the back. I had a ball come at my face that I actually caught. I have no idea how, but I did. That ball would have done serious damage to me if I hadn't caught it. I don't know how you get past. I don't know how you get past this if you're Houck. Again, I won't speak for him. Maybe he does, but I couldn't. On the Red Sox broadcasters, our guy Kevin over in Duxbury says, Dave O'Brien is great. I really miss Orsillo. He was my favorite announcer. Well, yeah, we've been blessed with that too. Orsillo was great also. I just think the Red Sox in general have been really, really good. I just think the Red Sox broadcasters in general have been really, really good. Okay. I got a lot of different things I want to get here today. We got 20 minutes or so left. I'm going to tell you a little story from my weekend, something very, very rewarding to me I wanted to mention yesterday. I'll tell you what that is. And a couple of Red Sox or a couple of Celtics draft-related notes as we get ready for Thursday's NBA draft. We'll do it all next in the Brady Farkas Show, brought to you by Fecto Homes on DEV.
Waterbury invites you to think local, buy local, and be local by experiencing our many craft beer and food options. Whether you're anticipating that first delicious cold draft at a local brewery or picking up a variety pack at the store, the countless beers brewed in Waterbury and around the area are easy to access. Available on tap and in stores, we've truly earned the nickname Waterbury. We also have many restaurant options to please all palates. Take a night off from the kitchen and indulge yourself with fine dining, cafes, pubs, or takeout. There's something for everyone.
This is Green Mountain Dry Goods, across from Ben & Jerry's. We have soap, stuffies, souvenirs, and more.
Take care of your mind and body by choosing acupuncture, massages, reflexology, spas, salons, chiropractic care, and more. Indulge in some self-care and support our local businesses. Visit discoverwaterbury.com for more information.
The WDEV studio is sponsored by Sticks and Stuff and Swanton Lumber, Vermont's largest independent home center, powered by Marvin Doors and Windows. Go to sticksandstuff.com for store locations and hours.
Hi, I'm Bob Lake, CEO of Green Mountain Credit Union. We're proudly member-owned, which means what you deposit, we invest in your neighbors, friends, family, and small businesses that are essential to our community. And all interest and deposits made go right back to our members, continuing our philosophy of people helping people. Green Mountain Credit Union's old school lending with 21st century technology. I invite you to stop by one of our locations in South Burlington, Rutland, or Berlin, or find us at greenmountaincu.com.
Maintaining your septic system every 3 years is crucial for a long-lasting system. Call Micho Septic Service in East Hardwick, 472-6682. Family-owned septic service with attention to detail. They're equipped with ultrasonic locators for those hard-to-find septic tanks. Michos can scope your leach field too, so you know the system's condition. They can install tank risers, making your next pumping as easy as lifting a cover. Porta potties too. Call 472-6682. Septic experts for over 40 years. Call them today.
Hi, folks. This is Peter Burke. Join Joel Mashman and me in the garden Saturdays at 12:30. Don't try to do it alone in your garden. Call in with questions for advice or just to share your successes in the garden.
Brought to you in part by Menard's family-owned True Value Store, Brooklyn Street, Morrisville. Blossom's Florist, Greenhouse and Perennial Farm in Colchester. And Sticks and Stuff in Swanton Lumber, Vermont's largest independent home center. Go to sticksandstuff.com for store locations and hours.
The Brady Farkas Show now has an interactive text line, so reach out now at 802-585-3026.
Now it's back to the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
Red Sox baseball 17 minutes from now. We'll give you the Sox lineups as we get ready for Game 2 of the 4-game series with the Twins. Reminder, today and tomorrow, 7:40 starts, 1:10 on Thursday. So we'll be on live for all 90 minutes that day after the show. But good amount of time on the show every single day this week. I'll give you the lineups again here in about 10 minutes or so, 12 minutes or so. I want to tell you kind of quickly here about a really interesting experience I had over the weekend. And I spoke to my high school baseball coach on the phone for 45 minutes on Sunday. And that may, to some of you, seem like no big deal. Maybe some of you are close with the people, with the kind of the people that framed your life and still talk to your high school teachers or coaches or administrators. And maybe some of you are like, whoa, I haven't spoken to my high school coach since I was in high school. To me, it was a really cool experience. And let me kind of just give you the backstory on this. I played high school baseball and high school basketball, and I had two different coaches for the two sports. And my high school basketball coach was a younger guy, closer to my age. I mean, at the time, I'm 7. I played for him for 3 years, so I'm 16 through 18. He was probably between 35 and 40, right? So he was closer to my age, kind of the cool coach. He drove me to summer league. I worked his camps. We had a relationship where, yes, I was the player, he was the coach, but there was definitely more of a friendship there. And it's a guy that I talked to a lot and still talked to for a while after graduation. And then he coached my brother, so there was that relationship. So, and I coached his camps more often after I graduated. So he and I were pretty tight. The baseball coach was a lot different, right? Baseball coach was older. Baseball coach was more gruff. Baseball coach ran the program like a college program. Very, very serious, very, very stoic. There really was no being friends with the baseball coach. It was kind of more old school where like you kind of feared your coach, not in terms of he was going to do anything to you, but just like you kind of just feared him, right? Like you feared your spot, you feared your playing time, you feared repercussions if you made a mistake. That's just the way it was. So I wasn't as close with him. I respected him, I liked him, but we didn't have that relationship. Well, I coached baseball for a couple of years, obviously. And then eventually I coached against him, not in high school, but he was coaching his son's team in the summer. So we got a tiny bit closer because we would talk as we would play and things like that. But I hadn't spoken to him for a number of years, right? I've been in Vermont for 7 years. I haven't coached for 7, 8 years. And so I haven't spoken to him for a while. Well, I found out, as I kind of talked about a couple of weeks ago, that my high school was doing their Hall of Fame inductions. And obviously I wasn't inducted into the Hall of Fame, and some of my teammates were, and someone who was inducted in was my former coach. And I had his phone number still from a bunch of years ago when I wasn't sure if it was still his number, but I picked up the phone last weekend and I called him and I said, "Hey, Coach Carice, Brady Farkas, class of 08, just wanted to congratulate you on getting into the Shenandoah Hall of Fame. Wanted to congratulate you on, finally being recognized for all the work you did. You deserved it. I'm proud to have played for you, and you really prepared me for college baseball." And I didn't know if I'd hear back. I didn't necessarily expect to. I thought that it might, but it had been a week and I hadn't heard from him. So he calls me on Sunday, and we talked for 45 minutes, and it was very, very rewarding for a couple of reasons. One, it was nice to know that my nice gesture was appreciated, I guess selfishly, right? Like, I didn't have to call him, but I did. I thought it was the right thing to do. I thought he deserved to hear congratulations. I thought he deserved to hear about his impact on me. I thought it was nice, though, that I did it. Hearing back from him made me feel good that my nice gesture went appreciated. I think so often in today's world, people do nice things and they don't get the credit that they deserve, or they don't get the appreciation for those nice things that they deserve. So selfishly, it was nice to hear from him. But more importantly, it was one of the first times I've ever spoken to him like we were equals. Because it really is one of the first times I've ever spoken to him like we were equals, right? When I'm 18, it's a different dynamic. When I'm 18 and he's 50, it's a different dynamic. When I'm 18 and I'm on my second year on the varsity team and he's on year 25 of coaching, it's a different dynamic. And then picks up the phone, calls me. We talked for 45 minutes. It was a conversation like I've never had with him before, right? We're talking about the old days. We're talking about this guy and that guy. And he's asking me like, "Hey, what's going on with your former teammates? Okay, who's married? Who's got a kid? Where does this guy live?" And he's name dropping everybody. And I'm like, look, he's not 100 years old. He's only 65. But like, you coached a lot of kids. And he remembers everybody who we played with. And he wants to know what's up with who still lives in the area, who's moved out, who's married, what does these people do? And we're talking, and he's telling me about his speech, and he's telling me about this, that, or the other. And I'm like, this is a conversation like I've never had with you. because I was never in a position to have a conversation like that with you. Even when I coached against him, right? It's a few minutes on the field, you're shaking hands, and that's kind of it. This was 45 minutes uninterrupted. We're just catching up with somebody who was a big part of my life, because it was always my goal to make the high school team and impress this coach and then earn playing time and get spots on the mound and all that. And, you know, for him to show that appreciation back to me, that had meant a lot to me. That was really cool. And I don't know if I have a moral to this story other than, like, if you have a chance to reach out to somebody you haven't spoken to in a while, or if you have a chance to tell somebody that you appreciate what they did for you, do it. Okay? It probably was out of left field that I called him, but he appreciated it. It turned into a 45-minute conversation, and he told me, like, hey, next time you're in town, well, let's get coffee together and let's catch up further. And I genuinely believe that he means it, right? If it was just lip service, he would have spoken to me for 5 minutes. He gave me 45 minutes. And it was kind of just a different conversation than I've ever had, right? I've had that conversation with the basketball coach many times, right? I never had it with the baseball coach. And it was very, very cool, and it was very, very rewarding for me. Texter says, okay, a lot of different people talking to me here about Red Sox broadcasters. One says Sean McDonough is kind of mean. Sean McDonough is critical. And he was a little mean to Will Fleming the other day. But I do like Sean McDonough. But he is a little critical. Will Fleming's a little critical also. Scott and South Hero talking about Tanner Houck. Brady, I'm a little late on this. I was driving. But it does affect the batter when a pitcher is hit. My dad hit a pitcher when he was playing Little League or high school, and he quit the game. He was so distraught. I could totally see that too. And I do not want to discount the impact it could have on the other player, right? The Yankees batter against Houck was Kyle Higashioka. I haven't, heard what Higashioka has said about it. Higashioka, I imagine, will be playing today for the Yankees. You're absolutely right. This stuff can affect it. I've seen where hitters get hit in the head and the pitchers are affected. Who was it? I don't remember who it was, but Justin Turner, remember, he got hit in spring training for the Red Sox. He missed a couple of weeks. 10 days or so of spring training, 2 weeks maybe. The pitcher was clearly affected by it. So, yeah, let's not discount the impact that these things can have on the guy who causes the injury, right? Either the pitcher who's thrown it at the hitter or the hitter who has hit it back at the pitcher. Definitely can be something that gets on both of them. Texter in Williston, Peter, says, is Kyle Kuzma an option for Boston in free agency? Kuzma, Tatum, and Brown would be a nice 1-2-3. I think that Kuzma doesn't really address their needs, right? Like the Celtics need a point guard or the Celtics need a big man. I will maintain that. I don't think they need more perimeter-oriented players. Here's the rumors on the Celtics right now ahead of the draft. And the draft is Thursday night. And the Celtics only have one pick. Okay? Celtics only have one pick. I think it's pick 35. But someone can quote me on that. I don't have the ability to look it up right now. I think it's pick 35 for the Celtics. The rumor is out there that the Celtics are trying to move up into the first round, and they're looking to package that pick and Peyton Pritchard together, maybe to do it. Okay? So now I'm going to look it up. Now the internet's back. So Celtics draft pick. They lost their first round pick, remember, as a result of the Malcolm Brogdon trade. That's why they don't have, number 35 in the second round. So they're looking to package maybe number 35 and Peyton Pritchard to get in the first round. I would do it in a heartbeat. To me, Peyton Pritchard has no spot on this team. A couple different reasons, right? Peyton Pritchard's not more valuable than Marcus Smart. Peyton Pritchard's not more valuable than Malcolm Brogdon. I would like to bring in a point guard, whoever it is, and Peyton Pritchard will not be better than him, and Peyton Pritchard is not better than Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard's also kind of a malcontent. Peyton Pritchard wanted to be traded at the trade deadline last year. I'll send him out now. Peyton Pritchard can shoot, no doubt about it, but he's not a defensive player. He's not a true point guard, and he's not better than any of the guys I just listed, and he's much smaller than all of them. So Peyton Pritchard being traded with number 35 to get into the first round, I would do it in a heartbeat. How high can you get up? I don't know. 21, 25, 26. If you're looking to get a better pick, though, and a better prospect, I would attach Peyton Pritchard to it in a heartbeat. Not that he doesn't matter to me, right? He's a person. I don't mean to imply like that. But basketball-wise, he doesn't do me a lot of good. So Pritchard and 35 for a better pick, done as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely done. And the NBA draft is a crapshoot, right? Beyond like 10, you're lucky if you find someone good, right? Like I know Jokic was found late and Draymond was found late and Isaiah Thomas was found late, but there are a lot of people, okay, that get drafted in the NBA that you'll never hear about. But if trading Pritchard and 35 can get you up to 22 or something to take a shot, then I'm in. Okay, I'm absolutely in, 100% on that. I saw an interesting proposal today, not a proposal, but a suggestion from Ryan Russillo, and he was talking about the Celtics, and he said, I wonder if they would trade Jaylen Brown for Zion. And all I'll tell you is this. I'm going to know if Russillo's listening to our show because I mentioned the idea of Jaylen Brown for Ja Morant or Zion weeks ago. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I've said over and over again that I'd trade Jaylen Brown if there was an upgrade. I think in a perfect world, Zion is an upgrade, but the world is not perfect. The world's not perfect. Zion has been too injured. Zion now, if you've been following this whole relationship thing, has some real kind of personal drama and baggage to him that I don't need to be a part of. There's always the conversation about Zion's weight and if he's going to be able to play at that weight and stay healthy, and thus far he hasn't been. Look, Zion would be a perfect big man for Jason Tatum to play off of, but I can't do it. I can't do it. Again, perfect world, if Zion's healthy and doesn't have the personal baggage, then yeah, that's a trade that I would make. But the world's not perfect, and Zion's not healthy, and he does have personal baggage. But it's just interesting that I mentioned that idea a couple weeks ago. We even talked about it with Ben Steiner right after the Celtics season ended. And here we are now seeing Bill Simmons and Russillo floated out to each other on one of the many podcasts over at The Ringer. I mean, I want Zion to work out and be great. But right now, he hasn't shown enough to show that he can. And I certainly can't go trading Jaylen Brown for him. It's why I think the Celtics will continue to move forward with Jaylen Brown because there's not a better option on the board. Okay? The options you would consider better all come with considerable baggage, right? Ja Morant, maybe. Well, that's too much baggage. Zion, maybe. Too much baggage. I think Jaylen Brown staying is the best option moving forward. As much as I maybe would like to see if they could explore something else, but right now, I just don't think that they can. Red Sox Twins from Minneapolis, pregame show 2.5 minutes from now. Sox still in last place, but they're only a game and a half out right now of the third wild card spot. And they're only 2.5 out of the second wild card spot. Sox are 38 and 35. The Twins are in first place in the AL Central at what? 36 and 37. 36 and 37. Cutter Crawford pitches for Boston, 1-3 with a 4.20. Bailey Ober, very tall, kind of soft-tossing righty, pitches for Minnesota. He's 4-3 with a 2.65. Alex Verdugo leads off for the Red Sox in right. Justin Turner's back in the lineup today at DH. Rafi Devers is at third, hitting just 242. Yoshida's back in the cleanup spot. He's in left field, hitting 302. Adam Duvall is the center fielder again. Tristan Casas is at first. Kike Hernandez is back in the lineup. He's at second today. Connor Wong is the catcher, and Pablo Reyes is the shortstop, and he bats ninth. What a play he made last night, whirling around behind second base. For the Twins, Edouard Julien is the second baseman, hitting 247. Carlos Correa is at short, hitting just 218, but he started to hit better of late. He's got 9 homers and 34 ribbies. Alex Kirilloff is at first base, hitting 268, the young lefty. Byron Buxton down to 202 as the DH. Joey Gallo's back up in the order today against the righty. He's in left field hitting 192, but he does have considerable power. Royce Lewis, the young infielder, is at third. Max Kepler, thought to really be a star a couple of years ago, hitting 189. He bats seventh and is in right. Ryan Jeffers, the former Upper Valley Nighthawk, is the catcher. He bats eighth, hitting 225. And Willie Castro, the speedy center fielder, is in center, batting ninth, hitting 258 with 5 homers. He does have 13 stolen bases. Tomorrow on the show, you'll hear from Tom Caron of Nesson. You'll hear a little bit from Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio as well. Go download the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and WDEVradio.com. We'll have it there for you. Within the hour or so. It's usually we get it up within 20 minutes and an hour, and we'll do our best to do it as quick as possible. Sox game starts now. We'll see you tomorrow on DEV.
For the Mass Mutual Red Sox pregame show, proudly brought to you by